Summit Point has become a haven for club racers on the East Coast, but the sprawling facility started with one simple racetrack, and that's what we're facing off on today as we get ready for the PCA Sim Racing Series 12 Challenge class, and you'll see it all live here on RaceSpotTV. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth tonight is DJ. Behind the scenes is our director, Hugo Luis. And DJ, this is a track that should be familiar to many of these racers, and yet it hasn't lost its challenge.
No, it certainly hasn't, Joe. This Summit Point facility has a little bit of everything. Some slow speed corners, medium speed corners. It's very, very tricky to get around. Watch out, particularly for that first turn complex. That's going to be a real destination point for some action. And then also watch up through the carousel, that 5, 6, 7, 8 area. You can send a sneak attack up in there if you're careful, but it's also an area that it's very easy to outbrake yourself and find yourself in the area we like to call parking lot on the outside of turn 5.
Exactly. It certainly saw a lot of action last night for the sport class. Now, as for the championship, Aaron Sunday is currently leading the way, and it's by about 15 points over Will Wolf. So still pretty tight up there, but between Wolf and Stern, a mere 4 points separating them. Don't forget they do have the drop weeks, and Aaron Sunday has a second place for his drop week so far. So he's honestly doing pretty good, even if he has a bad day today. From there on down, it gets pretty tight between DeVincenzo and Hammond, with a single point between them as well, between Maine and De Silva. So watch out for those fights to see what happens between them today. But that is your top 10 here for this last race of Summit Point of our 4 classes we're going to be broadcasting in these 2 weeks. Now, one thing that we are excited to announce is that Charlie Mobile is sponsoring the Series 12 Clean Driver Award, an event for broadcasts here on RaceSpotTV. Also, Charlie Mobile is providing an Apple iPhone 16 and a year of service to the combined classes overall winner. So there's some big prizes to be fought for, even more than just the pride of the drivers here. These many rounds that we've got, 7 events that will decide our champions. And Charlie Mobile coming on board to offer them some cool stuff to try and win. Now, we're in the midst of the qualifying currently. We've got about 2.5 minutes left, DJ, and it looks like Olin Murphy has the provisional pole, but most of the drivers look like they have set a time.
Yeah, you've got a pretty close field here from first down to 15th, only separated by about 1.1 seconds, so that's a good one. Here comes De Silva now through that area I was talking about. This down into the carousel, so very tricky. There's a little bit of camber there you can use on the car, but for the most part, you just got to feel it out. And then this absolute send down through 8 and 9. You've got to trust that the car is going to stay underneath you and keep on pushing. Now he's going to bring the car out wide. Nice line there for Antonio De Silva. Now watch him down here through Paddock Bend. This is the crucial corner. Could have gone a little bit wider there, Joe. Carry a little bit more momentum. You want to carry as much as you can down this main straightaway to line up for turn 1.
And De Silva is not going to be able to improve regardless, as he's got all 3 of his laps in. In fact, the only driver I'm seeing able to set time from here is Michael Courtney, but we're going to watch Alex Litvak getting just that little bit more of practice in. And we have to remember, this is the challenge class, DJ, so this is the lowest of the 4 classes that competes here in the series, other than the entry, which is just drivers that are coming in new and need to be placed still. So for these drivers, I have to imagine getting any bits of practice in is probably going to be hugely helpful.
Yeah, as much practice as you can get under your belt is going to be huge. And then let's also remember the biggest thing that they're going to be able to take away from this, and that is that wheel-to-wheel battling that they need to be able to really get underneath their belt. To be able to get that kind of racecraft underneath you, absolutely crucial, especially around a place like Summit Point that is pretty narrow confines when it comes to a racetrack.
It really is. And here we watch for the second time around on Michael Courtney in the 33. He improves by about 1/10 of a second, and that will actually jump him up to 8th. We tend to see very close lap times, at least we have in the previous 3 classes, DJ, just because, I mean, 10 corners in 2 miles, there's not much ways to make a difference.
No, there really isn't. And that's part of the reason why I think you're seeing such a tight spread across this field. And there it is, one of my favorite corners in the world, Joe. Turn 3, uphill left-hander that kind of leads out into that little bit of a kink to the right. It is an absolute full commitment corner as the checkered flag flies, and we get ready for racing action.
Alrighty, so it takes us to the starting grid for this one, and on the pole, it's going to be Olin Murphy. As I mentioned, Davin Beltran is going to be starting next to him, with Josh Jeppesen starting in P3. Outside of row 2 sees Jeremy Main with Aaron Sunday in the 5th position. Randall Ayers will be starting in P6 for the Pacific Northwest region. From there, down in 7th, it's Brian Stern. He's got Michael Courtney, who we followed around for the end of that qualifying session, starting in 8th. Will Wolf will be in P9. Then it is George Poulos who starts in 10th today. Of course, 11th goes to Antonio De Silva. 12th will be Johan Nye. DJ?
As we move down into 13th position, it is Anthony DiVincenzo there, then Britt Danley in 14th at the Peach State region. Vernon Messer will be lining up 15th at the Maverick region, then Kevin Haman in the Gold Coast region lines up in 16th. Aubrey Ayer will be 17th in the number 35 machine, followed by Adam Holland of the Upper Canada region. We move back through the field. Alex Lidbeck lines up in 19th, followed by Alan Hayes in the Hurricane region, in the Hurricane region there in the 20th position. Ryan McGee for the Nord-Stern region, he's going to be in 21st. Then it's Ed Trippett, also in that Nord-Stern region, in 22nd. Andy McCune is 23rd. Dave Douglas, 24th. 25th, as we move on back through the field, is Jack Stevenson.
Then it is Jeffrey Block to his outside. You've got Robbie Gerwing in the 27th spot. Art Schwartz starts P28, followed by Jim Garamani in 29th. Top 30 going to be rounded out by Lisa Eskridge, with Manuel Goncalves, the last driver to set a time there, in 31st. Eric Biggins and Chris Schussler did not manage to set a time, but they should be able to line up at the back of the grid. They have a 5-minute warm-up, so just a little bit more time of practice, which gives us an opportunity to once again remind you that Charlie Mobile is your ticket to staying connected at full throttle. With lightning-fast 5G speeds and unlimited data, talk, and text, they're the wireless service for those who live life in the fast lane. Whether you're tracking lap times or sharing your latest victory with fellow Porsche fans, Charlie Mobile has you covered with zero hidden fees or contracts. Plus, they're proud to give back, donating to causes that matter both locally and beyond. Ready to join a wireless service that goes the extra mile? Switch to Charlie Mobile and experience the difference on and off the track. So this, as it has been for all the other 3 classes, going to be starting early in the morning, this one. So it's going to be somewhat cool conditions for the drivers. Didn't seem to play too much of a factor in the previous races, DJ. However, it's a short pace lap. They don't even start until the back straightaway right before the final turn. So I can imagine those tires are going to be pretty darn cold.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit chilly. It's about 66 degrees Fahrenheit right now out in the air. That's definitely on the cool side here, Joe. And so you're going to have to watch out for that. There you see it in Celsius as well. It's about 19 degrees Celsius. A decent amount of humidity, 78%. That does mean that there's going to be a little bit more air to push down on the cars. So that'll help them through some of these medium speed corners. But by the same token, I think you're going to have to really be a little bit careful on the first lap. This is a pretty high-intensity circuit on the tires, so they'll come up to temperature quickly. But on that first lap, watch out coming through turn 1 and 3.
Yeah, those are quite tricky, especially that heavy braking down to the opening hairpin. This series often touts itself for its safe driving, though, and so we're expecting things to be relatively clean. They actually have what's called the orange zone to start the races, where essentially it's a period of that first lap where the drivers are expected to avoid incidents to the utmost, or else they will actually have a harsher penalty if they are found at fault for an incident. So you'll see them probably take extra care on that first lap just to try and stay out of trouble. So we watch Jeremy Main in the 555, and get his webcam. We try to bring as many drivers as we can, and I'll be honest, PCA always has some really impressive rigs and sim rooms, DJ.
Yeah, and Jeremy's no exception here. Love the layout, love the formula-style wheel that he's got there, and of course, as you see with a lot of these drivers, driving with those karting or those racing gloves to be able to have on just makes things a little bit easier for the drivers, and you get a little bit of that more realistic feel on the car, and frankly, you don't want to be sweating all over that wheel. That's the other part of it.
Yeah, indeed. That was the reason I started getting racing gloves, is because I sweat way too much with my palms. But it makes me curious because you mentioned the Formula wheel. We've seen a couple drivers with that. What's your preference, the full rim or the Formula butterfly?
I like the butterfly. I like the Formula style. Unless I'm racing dirt, then you got to have a wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like drivers now gridding up. So we're getting ready to take part in the last of our Summit Point races. We've had 3 examples. Drivers have had the opportunity to try and pick up tips. So let's say you'd been one of those coaches in this series, DJ. What would you be telling them heading into this race?
Heading into this race, take it easy, take it calm. This is an area where you've got grass on the runoff of the track, so it's very easy to put a tire wrong. I would say, especially if you're starting mid-pack here, don't try to gain those positions early. Trust in the fact that you are in the challenge class. We may see an error or two out of these drivers and try to pick up positions that way. This is going to be much more of a circuit where I think pressure applied to the driver in front is going to gain you a position much easier than trying to send a move down into turn 1.
Yeah. Last night in that sport class, keeping it on the island paid big dividends. In fact, that's kind of how our winner came away with it, although strategy was definitely a part as well, because they have one pit stop that they'll have to do. Pace car is already in. Expect those pit stops to open up at some point about a quarter of the way into the race. Green flag is out, but it was an early start for Olin Murphy. Not sure if that's going to be against the rules, as the drivers do have to wait for that call from the flag stand before they can go. But as they break down into turn 1, that did spread them apart a little bit because of the early takeoff from our leader. So far, so good, DJ. It looks like I think they're going to be clean through turn 1.
Yeah, everybody looks like they're through nice and easily here at this point, so that's not going to be a problem for the rest of the field. Now a little bit of side-by-side action coming up into turn 3. That's one of those danger zones. You can already see some dirt being kicked up on the outside. Very
common at this track. No matter your speed, drivers will often get into that gravel a little bit on the outside of wagon wheel. In the meantime, coming through the carousel now at the back of the course, Murphy still leads. We got quite a few battles, very thick in the action here in the mid-pack. This is right around 15th, 16th, 17th, where Haman and Messner, you can see in the middle of your screen, are still kind of dueling for position. Messer on the chase with the yellow and blue machine, although he got a bad run. And here comes Aubrey Iyer as we switch back up to the front of the fields, and look at the gap that Olin Murphy has got.
Yeah, it's about 0.7 of a second here, and this is going to be the kind of breathing room that Olin wants to develop over the course of this run, because one of the other things we didn't talk about here, Joe, was the fact that we're going to have some lap traffic to deal with almost assuredly over the course of this race. And when that lap traffic comes out, you want as much time as possible between you and the trailing car to deal with it. Oh, a couple of cars off on the outside. I think that's Jeremy Main getting into the kitty litter.
Yeah, we saw that smoke, and I can tell you that it looks like he is rolling again, but didn't seem to affect anybody else as the front of the pack just carries on like nothing happened. Beltran trying to keep Murphy in check. He's got it at least 3/4 of a second here, so he's not let him run away too far, but they have definitely dropped Josh Jeppesen in there behind them. It's starting to become a bit of a 2-horse race up at the front of the field as they complete lap 2 now.
Yeah, and for Murphy here, this gap has grown about 1/10 of a second, call it 2/10 of a second on this last run. It looks like Beltran's got a little bit of a better run through Sector 1, and once we get into the carousel and on that back straightaway, that's where Murphy starts to get into it. And Joe, you just mentioned there, Jeppesen losing a position to Sunday. They're in a little bit of a battle.
Yeah, Sunday trying to get ahead of him. We did see the side-by-side, but he was not able to make that pass as they come into the background. Jeppesen in that sort of dark teal car, still on third position. Aaron, our current points leader, lowest finish is second so far. So we're expecting him to probably try and move up, but you never know, as it looks like today's not quite the quickest. And of course, Olin still leading up at the front. From there, I'm very curious in that pack in behind them, because, you know, we talked about the battle between Jeppesen and Sunday, but it looks like there's a bit of a train kind of forming.
Yeah, there really is. Jeppesen's holding up a little bit of this field at the moment. Sunday, Ayers, Stern, Courtney, they're all starting to run in line, and this is going to bunch everybody up. They've got to try to get by Jeppesen. I think for Sunday, that's especially crucial for him to try to get this run if he can.
Sounds like we have our first penalty handed out. Aubrey Iyer given a black flag for cause of an incident. I don't know that we saw that. And, Aubrey tried to pit in, but had a failure on that one, unfortunately, and has towed the car now. That pit does require some practice. We didn't see it on screen, which I'm sure Aubrey is quite appreciative for. Meanwhile, as we continue to watch Olin Murphy, the gap is now extending. Beltran behind by 1.3 seconds, so Olin turning it up a bit.
Yeah, I think he recognized some of the pressure that was coming behind and decided to push a little bit harder at this point to maybe try to build that gap if he can. Meanwhile, that train behind with Jeppesen just continues to grow here at this point. It's 3 cars right now, Jeppesen, Sunday, and Ayers. And for all of them, they've got to get a move on. Sunday's trying to make a move down into turn 1 of the last 2 laps. It hasn't worked out. He's got to try to make that move now.
He's doing his best to see if he can make him work for it, but Randall Ayers is becoming a problem for the 331. There we can see them coming down the main straight now and into the braking zone of turn 1. Jeppesen looks clear. Sunday does not, as Ayers tries to stick his nose in, but runs out of track down to the apex. He'll have to stay behind.
Oh, and the car going off a little bit squirrely there. I think that may have been Brian Stern, maybe Michael Courtney in the background. Important to note, though, Joe, Randall Ayers set the fastest lap of the race on the last time of asking. That just shows the speed that number 67 has underneath them.
And at one point, it was Sundays who was the quickest, but under braking, a little bit of squirrel from Aaron Sunday actually down into turn 5. He's able to keep from running into the back of Josh Jeppesen, but his 4 cars nose to tail, like you said, Jeppesen at the front, followed by Sunday, then Ayers, and then Brian Stern, all tied together and fighting for what is third position.
And this is the crucial point here. If you are Aaron Sunday, you've got to get that run coming down into turn 10. He mistimed it a little bit. I think he got it wrong. He may have another little bit of a look here, but oh, look at this. Here comes Brian Stern on Randall Ayers. We're going to be side by side coming across the line.
Sunday also tries to dive down in, but he's not as quite as late on the brakes. Brian Stern also gets chopped off at the apex. Successful defense for both Jeppesen and Ayers as they come around turns 1 and 2. Randall now tries to get back to the racing line and sets his sights back on Sunday.
Yeah, he's going to try to move ahead. A little bit of an off run there from Aaron Sunday as he got off, or excuse me, it was Joshua Jeppesen as he got off into the grass, or the kitty litter coming around turn 3. I'm a little bit interested here at this point. If you are Aaron Sunday, it looked like he lost a little bit of time to Jeppesen. A little bit of a different line there coming through the carousel. It is a multi-apex right-hander, so you can take some different lines, but he's lost some time here. He's lost a step on this last lap.
Definitely has, and that is much to the chagrin of Joshua Jeppesen, who's trying his best to shake this group. And instead of being on the attack like he was last lap, looks like Sunday's got to be a little bit defensive, although Ayers didn't get the exit coming off of Paddock Bend like he wanted to. And he's not able to try and slide up the inside this time. So Ayers stays put, and they're still going to be Jeppesen 3rd, Sunday 4th, Ayers 5th, and Stern in 6th.
This is interesting here from Aaron Sunday. That's the second or third time coming through a corner we've seen him take, let's call it an alternate line. He ran just a little bit different off of turn 2. Let's keep our eyes here. Let's see what he does coming through the carousel. That's a bit of a defensive line there, Joe. He's kind of listing over to the left a little bit. And again here through the carousel. Now, he really diamonded off this corner. That's a little bit more traditional, but I think Sunday's looking in his mirrors. I think Randall Ayers may be under the skin here at the 331.
Certainly seems like he's caused him some concern in these early days, but we're not even 10 minutes into this race, so there's still a long ways to go. We haven't even opened the pit window quite yet, which is just for fuel for these cars, as they'll cross the start-finish line once again, and still they stay too far apart for really anything to happen down into turn 1. You haven't missed anything in front of them either. It's about up to 2.2 seconds, it looks like, between P1 and P2. So it's good. This is honestly probably good to see, because 60 minutes is a decently long race, DJ, and it seems like they're willing to settle in for the long haul.
Yeah, as we jump on board here, this is a battle farther back in the field. This is Britt Danley and Antonio De Silva in that black and green, number 24, right up ahead. And watch the hands on the wheel here, Joe. You can see just how many little micro inputs that they have to put in coming through some of these areas. On this tight and narrow course, you've got to be so very careful on just what you put into that wheel.
Exactly. I was thought that run down the chute into yard sale is pretty dangerous, and you have to get it just right. It's tempting to try and make a pass, but it's difficult to try and execute on. So most drivers are probably going to stay single file unless they feel ambitious. And Danley, a little too ambitious on the grip. He dipped 2 tires off into the grass there out of turn 8.
Yeah, but that's what I was talking about on some of these corners of this track. High commitment. You've got to trust that the car is going to stick and not go too far over. Unfortunately for that Peach State region driver coming through turn 9, just a little bit too early on the throttle going through there, and that threw him off into the grass.
Now down into the braking of turn 1. Danley not able to do anything. Oh, in front of them, there was another problem, this time for George Poulos in 8th position. He won't lose a spot, but De Silva has definitely gained a number of car lengths on that purple machine. Look at him pushing. You could tell he's trying to make up for that lost time, George Poulos, but he's still overdriving it as he's losing more car lengths now to that bright green number 24. He's not going to be able to pass him down into turn 5, but Antonio, they're actually going to come together. A mistake from George has cost them dearly.
Yeah, very much so. The Metropolitan New York driver just hooked that car, caught a little bit too much speed coming through turn 5, and that caused the rear end to break away. As we've talked about a couple of times in years past, the pendulum effect in these Porsche Cup cars, just carrying that car into the guardrail and spitting him back out onto the track.
That was a bit of a dangerous rejoin from Antonio De Silva. I'm not sure if they'll give out a penalty. They likely are, as even if it was a mistake. If you cause an accident, they'll often hand out penalties to drivers here. But De Silva might get one anyways for that re-entry. He's lucky that nobody wound up hitting him. He did have to come into pit lane, probably going to take the spare car, but he still owes us a pit stop later on. Well, that was an interesting one as we watched Beltran for just a moment there. Now we come to the replay, and yeah, just lit up those rear tires. George couldn't keep the rear end planted, and poor Antonio had no place to take the car.
Yeah, exactly. Antonio just absolutely nowhere to go. Let's watch it here. A little bit of oversteer from Antonio, and yeah, there you can see on board, just absolutely nowhere to go. Nothing that De Silva could have done, and heavy damage there to that 24.
Here's the rejoin. Yeah, and that was Johan Nye, who thankfully kept it hugged off to the right-hand side. So nobody really had to take too evasive of action. I don't see any penalties yet from race control. Oh, Jeppesen in a battle, making a little bit of contact as well. Second contact, and that's going to spin the 73 of Jeppesen around. That was Brian Stern, who unfortunately got into the side of him there, I think.
Yeah, I think it was as well. Just unfortunate that both of those drivers kind of vying for the same piece of real estate there, Joe. And, well, when that happens, you're always going to have a little bit of a contact. Let's take a look at the replay. Initial contact there. It just looked like Jefferson's car never really settled back down. It was just always in that slight twist.
And an update, that was Sunday. That's our points leader.
Oh.
That came together with him. So that's not good for the 331. And for Jefferson, yeah, I mean, everything looked good until it didn't, unfortunately, and then had to wait for the track to clear so that he could get back going as quickly as possible. It was all, you know what? Car did look a little bit loose from that angle. So Sunday maybe could be forgiven a little bit for that contact in the end.
Yeah, here we go. We've got more side-by-side here. This is Stern and Ayers coming down into that braking zone into turn one. Oh, careful. Oh, that corner always makes me think that there's going to be contact, but that's going to be Ayers able to carry the momentum around the outside.
So Randall now in the third position, having inherited that spot. And Stern following him. Aaron Sunday trailing in behind, had to lose a couple, trying to slow down for the spinning car in front of him. We had another black flag, this time for Dave Douglas, and I don't think we've seen whatever incident that was that caused that one. No word on the ones that we have seen replays of so far.
All right, so we're going to have to wait for those, but I've got to give credit here to Aaron Sunday. That's that third car in line, that 331, the white and teal machine. He didn't lose that much time. He's right there, right back up into the thick of this battle.
I spoke too soon. George Poulos just got his black flag for the incident we did see. Onto the main straight once again. Randall Ayers leads the group. He's got a pretty good run, and he's got lap traffic. Antonio Da Silva trying to stay off and to the side. Remember, he's a lapped car. He's trying not to be part of this and brakes just in time to allow the third of the group, Aaron Sunday, by, although he is going to be in front of Michael Courtney, who's also trying to chase them for position. So Michael not going to have the best time through those first couple corners.
No, certainly isn't here at this point. He's going to have to try to work his way back forward and see what they can do. Stern definitely on the attack here, though. Going to carry that car very, very wide, coming into the right-hander. Bringing it down into yard sale. We're going to jump on board with Stern here at this point. Yeah, he is on the attack, Joe. He knows that there is a potential podium position on the line.
Trying to stay as close as he can, but he was slightly offline coming into the S's. That's going to make life difficult. And yeah, look at the car, just have to save it there coming out onto the back stretch, and that cost him a bit. Oh no, Britt Danley with more issues now. He'll get it going, but it looked like he did get into the wall there out of 5 and into 6.
Right, so he's hopefully going to be able to save that. Just taking a quick visual look at that car. It was okay until he nosed it into the tire barriers.
Not much room off to the side there where they have the barriers to collect you and keep you out of the trees. Don't have those barriers for all of the trees, unfortunately, as it's mostly embankments. And now we catch up at the battle for 20th. This is Art Schwartz in that bright yellow and blue Michelin car. Just behind him, Jeremy Main taking a little bit of a peek. Main has made multiple issues, had multiple offs in this race. We saw one of them earlier than a second one that we haven't seen, and that's what's put him back into 21st, but isn't quite quick enough coming off the final turn.
Yeah, not quite able to get it there. Let's see if he's able to get a little bit more here as they bring their way down to the braking zone. Quite. Yeah, he lost a little bit of time there, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's looking like he's still struggling. I'm not sure if his second incident caused him maybe a little bit of damage. You can't really see anything major on the car from our angles that we're getting here, but that doesn't mean that it's completely perfect. Well, he sends it in a little too deep. He's going to lose control. He'll slide sideways. He locks it up, and nice job keeping that from becoming a bigger incident. Unfortunately, he's going to lose some more spots. The 555 has been having a heck of a day today.
Yeah, really and truly has. There we take a look at the picture-in-picture. Main just not quite able to get it to play. Doing the right thing, though, staying off to the outside and making sure that he's not going to cause too much of an incident for the rest of the drivers on the track.
Update on Aaron Sunday. He did indeed get a black flag for his contact, so he's going to have to come down pit lane and serve that one. He's already down to 5th position, and you cannot take your pit stop when you serve a penalty, so he'll still have to come around another time. This is easily going to send him probably down to about 15th or so.
Yeah, it's really going to hurt his standing here. Here's Aaron Sunday fighting his way back up. Wow, we got whole gaggles. I think that's some lap traffic in front that they're having to deal with. Yes, indeed, it is.
It is, and Sunday down into pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. Watch and see where he comes out. Meanwhile, we're going to stick with this battle on track as Michael Courtney is trying to lap Goncalves so that he can stay with Brian Stern, but he still actually has Lisa Eskridge in between as well. Stern has just taken off like a shot away from him.
Yeah, and I've got to give some credit here. I like this pit stop call from Aaron Sunday. He saw that traffic up in front of him, decided to get out of dodge, get out of the way, dive down pit lane. Eskridge runs a little bit wide there, coming into turn 3, gives the position over there to Michael Courtney and allows Courtney on through.
And you know, my estimations on Sunday were a little hot. He came back out in 8th. And this field has spread out significantly. This is for position between Eskridge and Goncalves. And it looks like Manuel is going to get that 25th spot. It's a nice move for him through a part of the track you usually don't see passes.
No, you really don't see a lot of passes there on the back half of this circuit, certainly not at that point. But here is the 502 working their way on through. We're going to jump you up through the field here. This is Anthony DiVincenzo right now in a little bit of a battle here. Adam Holland right behind us. We've got a view there of Tony.
Yep, taking it through that final corner. He's under threat. He's got Adam Holland within about a car length or two. And he could try and make a dive up into turn 1. We'll watch and see whether or not he gives it a go. That's Edward Trippett just in front of him in the orange and black, and that's all for position. No change amongst them. Stephen Danley, though, or excuse me, Britt Danley, just kind of holding on to the back of them as well.
Yeah, holding on to the back here again, just trying to see if there's going to be any of that little bit of mistakes that we see from drivers at different points as they make them. Drive down here is that Ayers? Ayers has had an issue.
Oh no, this is a lot of positions going away through his fingers. I'm trying to figure out, I think that's through the S's. Yeah, that's through the S's, but he's had some sort of problem. He's down to 6, and Aaron Sunday is going to be the next one back to try and get him, and just lost it all on his own.
I think that's a combination of cool track here, Joe, and just a little bit of tire spin. So we've got a live picture here, side by side, Haman and Jepson going at it.
Oh, and they are nose to nose as they come down towards the braking zone. Jepson has the inside line. Theoretically, he should have the more desired line, but sometimes that braking on the rubbered in area should help out. They got a car across the track just in front of him trying to take off. This might create a pit. Wow, getting around the outside at the last moment. How did Jepson miss him?
And that was Ayers suffering another issue down into turn 1. Jepson with some lightning fast reflexes.
Unbelievable stuff. 3 wide through that corner, and they got out the other side somehow. So that's going to put Jepson up into 7th. And Aaron Sunday actually managed to get ahead of them, if I'm seeing right. Yeah, he's already up to 6. My goodness, he's running away.
Yeah, I think this pit stop call from Sunday was absolutely inspired. He's missing all of this that you see around him. Jumping back.
Remember, though, that wasn't a pit stop call. That was a black flag, though.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, so he still owes us a pit stop,
right,
and is going to have to give up a lot of spots. But I thought he would have been way farther back by now after that penalty than now. Meanwhile, just behind them, Trippett is going to see DiVincenzo closing in those mirrors and coming down to the braking zone just ahead of him. There's a move down to the inside as Kevin Haman is able to take the spot. Lisa Eskridge, now another lapped car, kind of in the way. Josh Jepson able to squeak through, and Randall Ayers giving chase.
Oh, trip it here, and DiVincenzo trying to see if they can hold it out. They're going to come back in the single file order, coming up and over Wagon Bend as they bring their way down into the chute here at this point. This is, again, that area, Joe, that you talked about. You can't really get a pass done. Oh, somebody off into the grass. That's Lidbeck, I think.
Gerwing and, Lidback and Aubrey Iyer also all had incidents at the same time in the same corner, but none of them related to one another as far as I could tell. Just all kind of going off in that very tricky braking zone as we come back to that battle between Johan Nye and Anthony DiVincenzo. This is for 10th now, and that is Lisa Eskridge again, who is not for position just in front of them. Will this offer an opportunity? Both of them having to go to the inside. It's hard to go 3 wide. It's so narrow on this track. They're going to be able to sneak through just in time. Tony gets the inside away from him, and he's deeper on the brakes. Can he make the corner? Yes, he can.
Nicely done there for Tony. Another car off into the outside. Is that Jefferson? Yes, it is.
It is. Oh, no. It was looking so good for Josh up until now. Wow, a very hurried back up there. Here's the replay. He may have had a tiny bit of help there. I couldn't tell if there was contact or not from that replay.
Yeah, and that would have been contact with Randall Ayers that he was battling with. Ayers to the outside. We'll maybe see if we can get another look at it to really determine what happened there, but did get the car stopped. You got to be a little bit careful here at Summit Point on the iRacing simulator as you can go into the outside. Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of a how you doing there, Joe.
So frustrating. The slightest of touch, and it sends him around. It may have even been ghost contact from that angle, but regardless, they were racing close, and that's one of the risks you take in sim racing for sure, before he waits a long time and then eventually is able to reverse out of it. But one thing we do want to mention is Charlie Mobile once again, because they're your ticket to staying connected at full throttle with lightning fast 5G speeds and unlimited data, talk, and text. They're the wireless service for those who live life in the fast lane. Whether you're tracking lap times or sharing your latest victory with fellow Porsche fans, Charlie Mobile has you covered with zero hidden fees or contracts. Plus, they're proud to give back, donating to causes that matter both locally and beyond. Ready to join a wireless service that goes the extra mile? Switch to Charlie Mobile and experience the difference on and off the track. So we come back to the 444 of Edward Trippett, and he's still sandwiched between Britt Danley and Anthony DiVincenzo. No, we're going to check out Ryan McGee now. And quite the fight. There is just constant action around here. Like you said earlier, DJ, the lap traffic has made it a conveyor belt of cars, and it's nonstop.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were in tune here for at Summit Point. This is exactly what we expected. And another problem for Randall Ayers. It looks like there may be a wee bit of damage on the front of that Porsche. Trying to get everything underneath. Let's see what happens. Oh, just clipped the dirt on the outside, maybe a little bit of lockup. Oh. Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption there's some damage on the front end of that car.
He's got a meatball flag. He has since towed it into pit lane, and he does have a spare car. I imagine he's going to have to take it if he wants to try and finish this race. We'll see if he elects to stay in it and try to bring it home. Wow, yeah, just a little mistake. It's such a fast corner. There was not much saving it.
No, it looked like a little bit of a lockup there almost. Let's take a look back at the 86. What happened there? We're going to go back to live pictures here at this point. This is the 82. Oh, here we go on board with the 86. This is Britt Danley coming down into turn 1. Tries to bring the car maybe a little bit too much curb. Yeah, that just unsettles the car there, Joe. You get a little bit of bouncing, as it were, on that suspension. Whoo, a little bit of a ride up and over the berm.
You got to be careful with that. We've already seen a couple drivers high center themselves in these 2 weeks, so thankfully he's not amongst them. 86 is still running, but it's definitely looked like he has not been without his problems. Back to the number 82 of Art Schwartz. Those cars behind him is Josh Jepson, Adi McCune, and Davin Beltran, and looks like Jepson's actually going to pull off to the side since he is going to be lapped now by Beltran. So he doesn't want to cause more problems, that he's not fighting McCune for position. This allows the 82 to kind of run away a little bit. The Potomac region driver. is currently running in 19th. Josh Jepson going slowly, isn't he? And he's coming into pit lane.
Yeah, that looks like just a very cautious approach to pit lane. You can see a little bit of damage there on the front end of that splitter. At least I think it's damage. It may just be the paint scheme playing some tricks on my eyes. But at the same time, he's going to come down into pit lane here at this point. Not a bad call, Joe. 30 minutes into this race, just take it as a mental reset. Just kind of let yourself cool back down, get everything ready to go, and then come back out and take on the second half of this race.
With the leaders lapping him, I wonder if this is his call to kind of get out of their way. Yeah, that looks like a scheduled stop, and he's back out now. And that should hopefully help him some, because he will have to deal with at least fewer of the lead cars catching him and putting him a lap down. Meanwhile, coming back to the 82 of Art once again. That's Beltran now trying to lap his car. He'll get down to the inside. Makes me wonder when we'll see Davin try to take his scheduled pit stop. Not going to be this lap, and actually he's way wide. I thought that was a bit of a shallow entry into the final turn. He keeps it on the black stuff, but only just barely.
Yeah, just barely, and now the 82 is going to have a little bit of a chance to maybe try to get back on by here at this point. They're going to be side by side. I think Art's going to recognize to kind of back off a little bit there. Just had the momentum, didn't want to lift as Art's in a little bit of a battle. Can't say I blame him, Joe.
Definitely, Beltran's got to hurry up because third place Stern is trying to catch him. Back to Britt Danley. This is Alan Hales just in front of him. Battle for 13th on the track. They'll come out of the S's. This is an important corner to be able to launch yourself down the second longest straightaway, which is then followed by the longest straightaway there on the front stretch. So another very critical turn. A lot of the curb on the inside for the number 74. So Hales is going to be able to distance himself somewhat.
Yeah, Hales is going to have a little bit of a run. Lap traffic sticking to the outside there. That's going to help them, or the inside rather. That's the 247 machine holding down to the inside. That's Kevin Haman. Oh, big lock up there for the 86.
Danley very lucky that they didn't run into the back of Hales there, because it was awful close down into the corner. Just sending it in a little deep, unfortunately. So now we check out the 247 of Haman, who's going to try and take that position away, and actually is going to be able to get it. Oh no, Alan Hales is a little bit too put off by that pass attempt. He goes well into the grass and is going to trundle his way back on through the dirt at turn 5, so he falls to 15th.
Yeah, and I think Hales was probably trying to do the right thing there at that point, Joe. Just stay out of the way, recognize that that attack was going to come and that he wasn't really going to be able to do anything about it, and just try to keep himself clear. And I think he just overcommitted to that idea of staying out of the way.
Looks like Lisa Eskridge in another little battle. This time it's Vernon Messer. Messer's going to take the inside. Out breaks Lisa down into turn 1. Needs to make the corner, though. He's, again, coming in quite shallow, but he'll manage through. Robbie Gerwing also going to try and get a position here. So Lisa lost 24th. Will she lose 25th?
Well, let's see here. She's able to hold this out. Gerwing looking a little bit aggressive. Trying to see some damage on the rear end of that car in the 199. Gerwing going to try to hold this out. Eskridge, good line through the corner, a little bit of curb. Here they come now through the carousel. Just really using every bit of the track here at this point. Right on board with the Rocky Mountain region driver of Rob Gerwing.
Starting to lose touch with Messer with this battle as well. And he's running away quite effectively on the pair of them. We're past halfway, so I expect we'll see a few more cars start to pit from here until about 15 minutes to go. Great run coming off of Paddock Bend. Lisa goes defensive. There is barely a car's width in there. and Gerwing is going to try and take it. They've also got Kevin Haman. Whoa, and he's also going to try and sneak through the inside, passed on either side, 2 cars in a 1 corner. But Gerwing, he's not brave enough on the brakes. Haman might get a 2 for 1 himself. This carries on out of 2 down to 3. Yes, he does. What a move from Kevin. Oh, excuse me, that was him lapping them. Sorry.
But nevertheless, even with that in mind, Joe, talk about some amazing car control there from Kevin Haman. He recognized that he was going to overshoot the corner a little bit, got the car over to the right, got it onto the curbing to over-rotate the car. Just a brilliant decision-making process in the moment.
This is William Wolf. He's been having an excellent race, up 5 positions here to P4, and he does have a little ways to go to get up on the podium. It's about 6.5 seconds to Stern, but regardless, I'd say he's doing an excellent job. Michael Courtney is in behind him by about a second, so he's not really a challenge right now, but as they go on by, that looks like Andy McCune. They overtake there. He's able to keep himself at arm's length from P5. In fact, lap traffic definitely held him up as we come back to Johan Nye now in the 141. DiVincenzo, who we've definitely seen a number of times in this race, up ahead in the Germany colors.
Yeah, this has been a battle I've actually kind of had my eye on out of the corner of my eye here. Nye just bringing on the pressure as much as possible to the back of DiVincenzo to try to see what they're able to do. That gap has really fluctuated, Joe. It's been side by side a couple of laps ago, and now you see it expanding up to about 9/10 of a second. This is a really interesting battle.
Absolutely is. And you know what? It seems like today very much is, as we said, a case of keeping it on the island. The driver who makes the fewest mistakes is going to get themselves a pretty good points haul.
Yeah, I think that is completely and totally right, and that's really what we're seeing. I mean, look at your points leader, Aaron Sunday, coming on into this. Oh, Britt Danley getting a little bit side by side there. That's Kevin Haman. We're going to go side by side with them with a little bit of lap traffic.
Messer was trying his best to stay out of the way, and he didn't do anything wrong there. Just Danley, unfortunately, chose poorly, and Haman will be able to hold on to that 12th position. Coming off the corner, though, does look like Britt is pretty quick as he's caught back up, coming into turn 3 again. The braking very good for this 86 car.
Yeah, very, very good. I actually thought he was going to lock up the brakes coming down into turn 1, but able to get that car slowed down. I'm very impressed with what Danley's been able to do here today. He's doing a good job. He's up 1 position, and there is that pressure. Kevin Haman going off onto the outside of the circuit, coming down into yard sale. There you see, that's Danley gaining that position.
Makes it a nice and easy pass for the 86, that's for sure. Oh, but the 86 is just given a black flag for the incident with the 144. That was Adam Holland, and he's serving that immediately. Oh, gotta be careful. Wow, that was close to the tires. He got it wound up in time, but it wasn't speeding he was worried about. It was just sheer damage to the car.
And here's a little bit of a move. That's going to be Main and Stevenson. Main with a brilliant move down to the inside of Paddock Bend. That is not a move you see every day.
Wow. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's such a swift right-hander. For him to be able to make that stick really tells you he was doing everything he could with the car. Lisa Eskridge now up in front of them, a lap down. So we'll see whether or not she'll dive out of the way. And if not, will that give Jack Stevenson a chance to try and pass once again? Giramani, oh, she's going to miss the corner a little bit. And that will allow all 3 of them through. But at the same time, that's Davin Beltran just in there. So that's our second place driver who's reached them. Olin Murphy, by the way, our leader, is still 7.5 seconds ahead. So he's kind of been anonymous this race, but I get the sense that's the way he wants it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not having any problems on a race like this, I'd call that a good day at the office, Joe. I mean, you're able to just keep your nose clean and drive the race you want to race. Fantastic. Here's Jeffrey Block, though, Mountain Region driver. going to bring the car down into the corner. That's Art Schwartz, I believe, right up ahead of him. Yes, it is. So nice little battle on track here.
Now, Jeffrey has already taken his pit stop, so theoretically he should get a few positions back as time goes on. And he's in 18th right now, and only one car in front of him has taken a scheduled stop. That's Kevin Hammond. So there's going to be a lot of positions that he's going to gain back once everybody else executes their strategy. Jack Stevenson down here in 15th, currently sandwiched between Garamani and Brian Stern, but Stern's trying to lap them. So we head back to block once more, and this time he is able to get by Art Schwartz.
Yeah, good move there, clearly indicating he was going to make that past Schwartz, not putting up too much of a defense. Pretty cut and dry, easy as you please there if you are Jeffrey Block.
Reese carries on, though, coming off the corner, and Art Schwartz pulls off to the side. I think he had a mistake as De Silva thinks about trying to get past him, but De Silva is a lap down because he had an early incident, and actually he's 2 laps down from the lead, even 1 lap down from these cars. So it is all mixed up out there.
Yeah, it really and truly is. It's kind of all over the place here in terms of drivers. You definitely have to be using that relative bar to keep yourself knowing exactly where everything is. It's going to be very, very crucial. Also, hopefully you got a good real-life spotter or one of the virtual spotters to help you out.
You definitely got to be paying attention, especially in those crazy lap traffic moments where we've seen some 3 wide around here. Oh, the 86 is in. Now, he served his penalty not long ago, so this is a scheduled stop now for him. And this means that he's also 2 laps down from the lead because of that double whammy, but he is going to inherit at least a few back once everybody else takes their pit stops.
All right, let's see what they've got here. Here's Aaron Sunday on his climb back up through the field here at this point. That is going to be Will Wolf right up ahead of him there. That gap's only about 0.6 of a second. Wolf in that red car. Sunday on a move here.
Sunday doesn't have the fastest lap of the race, so he's not the fastest driver out there, despite winning 2 of the 3 events so far this in Series 12. Not sure what it is about Summit Point that doesn't seem to agree with him as much, but as we've seen, after falling to 8th from his penalty, back up to 6th, looking at maybe 5th if he can overtake on Wolf. He's showing himself. He's trying to make Will think about it, but Will is not going to be distracted. He holds the racing line.
Holds the racing line. That's good composure there from Will, and you definitely saw he actually was so committed to running that traditional racing line, left a little bit of his space down to the inside. Sunday tried to get him to bite on it. Wolf did not do it. That's an impressive run for the 16. Adam Holland down into pit lane.
Righty, so the 144 taking his service, and I think that's going to be one of the spots that Kevin Hammond gets back now. But where does he return? He returns about in 11th place. Adam didn't lose much himself in this one. This is definitely the most lapped cars we've seen out of all 4 regions. Art Schwartz is off track again at turn 3. He'll get back on, but he's obviously dropped quite a bit. He's down to 20th now at this stage. To his credit, Art started in 28th, so he's still a gain of 8 so far. And there's what cost him. He had a little bit of help, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can indeed hear that impact kind of come through there. Take a look now. There's the 163 working their way forward. Nice little battle with Stevenson up in front.
Jim Garamani, one of our drivers that also races in the Porsche Owners Club on Monday nights over on our sister channel on the Global Sim Racing channel. So double dipping in the Porsches. And in these cars, currently running down in 15th position, it looks like. So not too shabby. About a mid-pack driver in the challenge class.
Yeah, looks like he made a little bit of an error there coming down into the chute. That's going to throw him off and kind of lose some of that position. The 33 of Michael Courtney able to get on by him. That's going to be a car putting them another lap down. 63, Arif Karamani, is he fading to come down into pit lane? Yes, he is.
Good call. So he'll take his service. Sad news for fans of Aubrey Ayer. Aubrey had a big hit and I think just retired the car out of the final turn. So that is it for Ayer here in today's race. So we continue to watch the 019. Also, I can report that that Sunday has taken his pit stop and is now our highest driver to have pitted. He only fell down to 7th place. Again, really impressed with the job that the 331 has done without having a perfect day. He's still kind of doing great damage limitation.
Well, this is what it's all about, Joe. If you find yourself in that position, it is limiting your worst days. And we often talk that that is what champions are made of, is when they can limit their worst day to a top 10, you're going to be in for a good run. And so I'm very impressed here with what we've been able to see out of Aaron Sunday.
We were watching Olin Murphy for so long, wasn't really doing much, and then he decided to pit in. Here he is right now, all the way down to his pit stall. Looks like he hit it perfectly. Nice job. The last thing you want to do is give up time on pit lane, although he had quite a buffer to those behind. Beltran does not pit this time, so he will inherit the lead. But remember, he will also need to take a pit stop, so I'm not expecting that to change due to this cycle. Olin actually was so far ahead. When he pits, he comes back out in second.
Well, we also do have pit stops that look like from Stern, Courtney, Wolf, some of those other drivers, so that will affect it a little bit, but at the same time, that is no detriment there and no criticism. Murphy absolutely dominant here tonight.
We'll let these drivers have their pit stops, and we'll take this chance to mention Charlie Mobile, which is your ticket to staying connected at full throttle. With lightning-fast 5G speeds and unlimited data, talk, and text, they're the wireless service for those who live life in the fast lane. Whether you're tracking lap times or sharing your latest victory with fellow Porsche fans, Charlie Mobile has you covered with zero hidden fees or contracts. Plus, they're proud to give back, donating to causes that matter both locally and beyond. Ready to join a wireless service that goes the extra mile? Switch to Charlie Mobile and experience the difference on and off the track. Just about done with the pit sequence, which isn't a surprise because we're hitting that 15-minute mark here, DJ. So just need DiVincenzo and Lidback, I think really the last two.
Yeah, as you see Davin Beltran coming down in and out of pit lane right now. There's a live look at that gap. Going to stabilize about here to, I think, let's call it 3.7 seconds. So pretty healthy there. Here's Aaron Sunday working his way back up through. He's been able to catch up to the back here of William Wolf, Michael Courtney. Or William Wolf here at this point. He's going to have to try to weave his way through a little bit of traffic. Got a sneaking suspicion Sunday is not going to go for the move into turn 1, and that's indeed exactly what he does.
A little surprised he was not able to jump him in the pit stop, so Wolf must have pitted pretty much immediately after. Yeah, it looks like about 2 laps later, Wolf took the pit stop, so he was trying to prevent Aaron from being able to leapfrog him with faster lap times, and it worked out well. Just in front of them, that's Jack Stevenson's running in 14th, so he knows he's being lapped. Oh, no problem from Wolf. Oh, no. And the car is going to scrape the wall there on the exit of turn 5. He'll get back on track, so it looks like he didn't damage the car too much, but he was doing such a beautiful job and just hands over that 5th to Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that may have just been a little bit of the pressure here. Coming up behind. Oh, no, I think this was a little bit of lap traffic. Oh, no, it wasn't. Just got squirrely.
Yeah, he hit that inside curb. Car got loose, and he was able to keep the worst from happening, which would have been a major wreck. So, yeah, see there. Actually, no, we're coming back live. Thought we were going to get another angle on the replay into that corner. But he does only lose the 1 position. He's still in P6, but he's lost about 4 seconds up to Aaron Sunday as we check in with DiVincenzo once again. And this time it's him versus Johan Nye for P7.
Yeah, Nye's doing a good job of just keeping this at bay. Like I said, this gap has absolutely fluctuated the entire race long, going up as big as about 2 seconds, now down to where you see it here, which is about 0.5 of a second. So this is a really, really interesting battle. Bit of a pressure cooker all day long. They've got to be a little bit careful. That white car you see in the background, that's Kevin Hammond. That is only about 1 second behind. So if these two get their elbows out, Hammond may have something to say about it.
So real quick, now that pit stops are done, let's run you through a few of our field to kind of give you an idea. Olin Murphy has been leading since the start of this race, hasn't looked too challenged. He's followed by Davin Beltran, who is in the second spot in the number 27 with a 5-second gap. From there, you've got Brian Stern in P3 to complete your podium. He's got a nice 7 seconds over Michael Courtney in the number 33. And the man who has seen a lot of action here today is the number 331 of Aaron Sunday. He sits in the 5th position and has done good damage limitation, but probably could have had a little bit more. William Wolf is in P6 in behind him after he just made that mistake that we saw down into 5. Johan Nye is 15 seconds behind him. That's our first really big gap that we've got in the field. Vincenzo, we were watching that battle. This is close. It's about 0.3 of a second in that battle for P7. Anthony currently sitting in 8th, obviously. 9th is Kevin Hammond in that 247 machine, and then Adam Holland up 8 positions here to be in the top 10, DJ. Not too shabby for the 144.
No, he's doing a great job to be able to bring his way up and through the field. You got to give Holland some credit here to be able to do that. And the driver behind him, Edward Trippett, up 11 spots as well. So nothing to shake a stick at here for Trippett. There we take a look at him.
Yeah, behind Trippett is going to be the number 11 of Alex Lidback, who's also up 7. Certainly a lot of these drivers in the mid-pack seem to have gained quite a bit. I imagine some of that is due to the attrition rate that we've had with drivers falling off the island. Jeremy Main sits in 13th in the 555. He's one of those that probably had a bit of a better day if he had kept the car pointed forward a bit more. Jack Stevenson up 11 as well in the 116 car. Nicely done, although he is a lap down. Main's our first car lap down for what it's worth. Ryan McGee in behind him in that nice black liveried machine 944. Another number I'm sure that is quite sought after here in this series. Randall Ayers is in 16th in the number 67. And in behind him, it's Alan Hales in the number 74. From there, you've got Vernon Messer in the number 56 running in 18th position. He's followed by Jim Garamani, up 10 spots there for the 163, into 19th spot. In the top 20, DJ rounded out by the number 42 of Dave Douglas.
Yeah, as we move back through the field here, it's Lisa Eskridge running in 21st position. There's Lisa. A little bit of damage on the rear of the car, but she's done a good job bringing that car forward, up 9 spots since the beginning of the race. Moving back there into 22nd, it's Antonio De Silva. Not a little bit of a bad day here. A couple incidents has seen him drop down 11. As we then move back, it's Art Schwartz, who's been doing a good job. Up 5 at the Potomac region driver. One of my favorite liveries, always a classic, so love to see that there for them. Jeffrey Block, well, their day just went a little bit worse here, just given a black flag for cause of incident. So they're going to have to serve that if they haven't already. Moving back, Robbie Gerwing, the Rocky Mountain region driver in that number 199. Runs in 25th position. Then it's Manuel Goncalves in the 26th spot. The Los Angeles region driver in the 502. Behind them, it is Andy McCune and that yellow machine for the Rocky Mountain region. And then Chris Schuessler rounds out your 28-car field that is running here at this point. George Poulos and Joshua Jepson, both DNFs here today.
Indeed. Glad to see that we still got plenty of them out there trudging along. And we come back to that fight we were following before our run down, battle for 7th place, Tony and Johan. And Tony has been successfully defending that 7th spot, but this time he goes very early. Johan's got a good run. I don't know that it's enough, though. That's still making the 420 car feel quite threatened till at least make the corner, and they'll swing their way around towards 3.
All right, they're going to bring their way towards 3, and as we said here, Tony been able to get that move done. Let's see what it is, 0.6 of a second here. He's going to try to pull away a little bit, but Johan not making this easy for that German liveried machine.
It's making them work, that is for sure, and that's also for position behind them. I just realized the red, white, and blue of Haman is sticking close. Ooh, things tightening up for a brief moment between Johan and Tony that time. Coming into the S's now as it weaves back and forth, a very swift set of corners and dumping you onto the back straight. Great exit from DiVincenzo, and he pulls himself well clear of Nye.
Yeah, well clear here. Tony just absolutely putting that power down when he needs to, recognizing what it is. But if you are in the position here of Johan Nye, you've got to be a little bit okay. Andy McCune, Manuel Goncalves coming up. Now that's going to be a battle for position. They're about 2 seconds apart, but you're coming up against him here. This is lap traffic. That's your opportunity to make a move.
That's a great point. Yeah, Andy McCune is the next one up, Goncalves as well. Those two are actually fighting for position for what it's worth, along with Jeffrey Block. No, Block is not for position amongst them. But yeah, those two are going to be trying to focus on one another, so they might not be paying as close attention to those behind in their own battle, because everybody here does have the right to try and fight for their race.
Yeah, they've got every right to hold on to that position. Remember, it's not Formula One style rules here. Blue flags are not mandatory. It is often courtesy to get out of the way, as we see, in fact, there from Andy McCune. But by the same token, we'll sometimes see drivers be able to fight for those positions when that's not the position you want. Driver off there as they try to get on by him. Jeffrey Block going to go down, and now it's just going to be Goncalves up ahead. Chances slipping away here if you're Johan Nye.
Yeah, unfortunately, not quite working out. Whoa! And that was Block once again, who just overshot the corner. This time was very close to actually running somebody over. He'll get the car pointed back towards the track, but that was probably scary for those around him as we continue to follow this battle. Oh, for 7th position. Oh, no, they come together. Nye and Haman with a massive crash down the chute.
And that is one of the highest speed sections of this circuit coming together there. Just a miscommunication, an error in form. We're going to have to see exactly what happened there by taking a look at the replay. This is Jeffrey Block coming down into the corner. I think he may have tagged the back of Haman there.
It'll look awful close. I don't know whether he did, but let's see. Here we go. This will give us the best angle on whether or not there was some contact. He knew it was. Oh, he knew it wasn't going to work. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he scraped some paint off that bumper.
Yeah, I certainly think he did. And then let's take a look here. Haman just comes to the outside of Nye. Maybe a little bit of the dreaded net code, but at the same time, I think contact was always going to happen there.
I think that was maybe more a case of spotter said car outside, and unfortunately, he didn't get the message in time. The two kind of tangled. I mean, he was kind of coming for a disappearing gap, but it's, well, here's what the stewards think of it. Johan Nye was given the black flag already, so they put that one on the 141.
Yeah, that's pretty immediate there from the stewards. That is not waiting around for that issue at all. So, all right, there you've got your answer. They put it on down. Nye's going to have to come down into pit lane. Insult to injury.
Yeah, this late in the race, it is spread apart, so hopefully that will take away some of the sting, but there's no time for him to make up for it either. So it basically is what it is at this stage once he exits back out on the track. 4 minutes left to go, and with it being about 1:10, 1:11 for the lap times around here, we're looking, what, probably 3 or 4 laps?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Your leaders coming down through the S's as of right now. You did see Johan Nye actually peel off into pit lane there at the last time of asking, so Johan Nye going to be serving that penalty down into pit lane right now.
So let's see. About 3:33 should be the time left needed. Ooh, it's gonna be close. Our leader crossed the line with about 3:35 left, so it may come down to traffic on how many laps we have left here.
Well, here is your leader from the Palmetto region, Olin Murphy, just bringing that Flying Lizard Motorsports machine on the way around the traditional livery. They unfortunately, well, they ran a Porsche last year, but we don't see that as much on Porsches as much anymore, which is a real shame. It just looks right on a Porsche.
I know. It's, they've jumped around on us lately. For many years, it was Flying Lizard Motorsports running Porsches. And like you said, this livery became very iconic. And Olin Murphy's represented it well today, like we saw during that era where many a win and good results came for that team. Here comes that traffic in front of them now that I was talking about that could play an effect in things. So let's see what the lap time looks like as he crosses the line. 2:22 is about what we're looking for to know whether or not it is 2 or 3 laps left to go. So we're going to turn away the watch to see what the clock says. It's 2:23 when he crossed the line. My goodness, this is going to be tight.
They're just keeping it up. We got a battle here for the final podium position. Brian Stern's under a lot of pressure here from Michael Courtney. This is game on.
And they've got that lap traffic to add to the mix. Great run from Michael. He's going to look down to the inside. The green and white of Stern just half-heartedly covers him off, but doesn't need to give a full block as he's going to hold on to the apex down into the turn. Just in front of them, Beltran is about 7 seconds up the road and running a quiet P2.
Yeah, running a quiet, a little bit of a wide one there for Michael Courtney. That's going to throw him off a little bit. Don't love to see that there from him. But let's see what they can do here as they come down into yard sale. Courtney's going to have to really scramble to get this back up.
Yeah, so that is a battle for the last step on the podium that we're watching right now. Really the closest fight we've got at the top of the field. So great stuff between these two. Give us some action right at the very end. Both of them up 4 from where they started as well.
Yeah, doing a really good job of continuing on that speed. By the way, your leader has crossed over the line, and I'm not seeing an indication for a white flag, so I think we've got 2 to go.
Okay. I forgot to try and check and watch it this time around. I've been watching the last 2, and he snuck up on me this time. But let's keep our eyes on him just in case. We're seeing one more, is what we're told. So will we go around for another time then? He'll get on past Giramani. There's a lot of traffic here. This might actually end it now because he's going to get slowed up big time by a bunch of cars. It's Eskridge, Goncalves, Art Schwartz up in front of them. In fact, Eskridge is fighting with Schwartz for P22. They come off of the penultimate turn, and as they accelerate down the backstretch, clock ticks down to 9 seconds to go. I think this has got to be the last lap because I don't think he's going to get there in time. Yeah, this is absolutely the last lap. Olin Murphy to the line. The Palmetto region driver who disappears. Is he actually going to take the victory? Yes, he is. He has crossed the line. I thought we were going to have a car disconnect feet from the finish line. That would have been crushing, but Olin Murphy is your winner.
Olin Murphy, your winner. Beltran looks like he will be able to come home second, followed by Brian Stern, holding off Courtney by 0.3 of a second.
Really hoping that counted that lap, because sometimes when you cross the line with internet connections, it can discount the lap, but it looks like it has counted him as your victor from what it is showing us. So great run by Stern to hold off Courtney in the end, only 0.3 of a second between them to decide that podium position. As for our hard chargers, looks like Trippett up 11, and he's a lap down though. In fact, the first driver to be a lap down in 11th. Wow, they had a lot of cars lapped today.
Yeah, they really did, but I think just the speed that you were seeing from Olin Murphy is certainly testament to all of that. Got a couple more drivers to cross over here, including Johan Nye, 10th place across the line.
Indeed. Looks like that's pretty much everybody completing today's race, and it was Olin Murphy, your victor, over Davin Beltran in second, and Brian Stern with a great run up to third. Michael Courtney following him through in fourth, and Aaron Sunday in fifth. With his penalty, with his mistakes, I think a podium probably could have been on the cards, but still his worst performance, and it's a fifth place. That's a testament to the 331. Will Wolf was P6 in the number 16, DiVincenzo 7th, Haman in 8th, and Holland 9th, with Johan Nye rounding out your top 10, DJ.
Ed Trippett came home in 11th, followed by Alex Lindback. Then it was Jeremy Main, Randall Ayers, and Ryan McGee. Rounding out your top 15, Jack Stevenson for the Chicago region was 16th. Then it was Alan Hayes, Vernon Messer, Jim Garamani, and Dave Douglas. Both of those two drivers 2 laps down.
Antonio De Silva was 21st. Arthur Schwartz was 22nd, with Lisa Eskridge 2 laps down, 23rd. Gerwing 3 laps down there in 24th. Jeffrey Block 25th, and Manuel Goncalves 3 laps down in 26th. From there, you get to drivers that had a pretty bad day, with McCune 4 laps down, Schuessler 7 laps down, and DNFs for Jefferson and Danley, as well as Poulos and Biggins here at the end of the field. One last time, we want to remind you that Charlie Mobile is your ticket to staying connected at full throttle with lightning fast 5G speeds and unlimited data, talk, and text. They're the wireless service for those who live life in the fast lane. Whether you're tracking lap times or sharing your latest victory with fellow Porsche fans, Charlie Mobile has you covered with 0 hidden fees or contracts. Plus, they're proud to give back, donating to causes that matter both locally and beyond. Ready to join a wireless service that goes the extra mile? Switch to Charlie Mobile and experience the difference on and off the track. I think we've got Olin Murphy ready to chat with us, so curious to hear how he feels about this one, especially having to navigate so much traffic today in that 019 Flying Lizard Motorsports car. Olin, congratulations on the win. We were talking about the thick of the traffic that you had to deal with out there. Was everybody decently well behaved from your perspective?
Sorry, could you repeat that for me?
Not a problem. There seemed to be a whole lot of traffic out there today. Did everybody seem pretty well behaved from your point of view?
Oh, absolutely. They did a great job of letting me know when I needed to pass. I had a couple incidents with a couple of them that was completely on me. So it's tricky to navigate on such a tight track, but everybody did a great job.
So you now bring yourself a win, where Aaron Sunday, of course, finished 5th. Still not a horrible bad day compared to most people to have 5th be your worst. Do you feel like this is a shot in the arm, though, to get a victory? Or you're looking forward and saying, okay, I could do a bit more now?
I'm really, really happy with the win. This is my first ever win. Yeah, it's still a pretty big points gap because Aaron had such an amazing 3 races, but I'm definitely going to fight for it.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That is fantastic. And more than that, you've had 2 podiums out of 4 races so far. You do seem pretty consistent yourself, for what it's worth.
Yeah, everybody has their moments. I've definitely been pretty consistent, but the mental part of it's definitely an issue sometimes.
I can understand. That's never been my strong suit either. But today you had the mental fortitude. Congratulations on your first ever victory, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Olin Murphy, winner here today at Summit Point. And he was followed home by Davin Beltran. I believe DJ has caught up with the number 27.
All right, Davin Beltran, as you were able to bring your way on in here in second place. We talked a little bit about what that traffic was like out on the track, but how did you find the run today? How did you find navigating around all these cars on a crazy, crazy circuit?
Yeah, it was a little tough. They held me up a bit, and I was afraid that the guy in number 3 was going to catch up to me, but whew.
Yeah, I mean, how much were you really having to look behind you when all of that was going on? It looked like this was a situation where you kind of just had to keep all 4 tires on the black stuff, and you were able to keep going.
Exactly. I just really had to pay attention to everything around me. It was tough, but I'm glad I made it through. There was a couple close calls, though.
Well, a couple close calls, but you made it work beautifully, my friend. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank? All right, I think we lost Davin there at this point, but we'll move him right along. That was Davin Beltran, your second place driver, Joe.
Indeed, followed home by Brian Stern, who definitely had a close fight there to try and bring home this podium finish. Brian, talk to us about those last few laps. Were you nervous? Did you think Michael was going to steal your thunder?
Yes, absolutely. I blew it on I forgot that turn is garbage dump or whatever, and I thought I had a little bit more padding, and that was not the case.
Yeah, it got a little bit uncomfy, I'm sure, there at the very end for you. But regardless, I mean, a podium position to bring it home. And more than that, you gained 7 from the start. It's usually harder to take spots at the sharp end of the field, so that's going to feel good.
Yeah, I tried to just keep my nose clean, not try to create any opportunities, and take the ones that came my way. And yeah, I had a lucky race.
Well, this track can be a bit of a mountain to climb sometimes. It's difficult despite its small size, but we got the reverse problem. It's a big one as we go to Bathurst next time out. Have you driven that yet, and how you feeling about the Australian monster that it is?
I haven't driven it yet, so that'll will require a lot of time, I think. It's got quite the reputation.
That it does. Well, best of luck on that one. And again, congratulations on staying cool under pressure to get to spray the champagne today.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us. It was a great race.
Brian Stern, your 3rd place finisher here, which is going to wrap us up. And we want you to make sure and join us the next time we're on air, which is going to be Wednesday, December 11th for the Pro Class at Monza. But also a big thank you goes out to the steering committee at PCA Sim Racing, as well as our team tonight, DJ and Hugo. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of PCA Sim Racing. I'm Joe Peak. Race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.